On December 5th, a rally was held at Queen's Park to try and generate awareness of Bill C-45. If passed, Bill C-45 would apply the same regulations and restrictions of smoking to vaping, the alternative method to smoking. If passed, the bill would make it illegal for vaping stores to list their products' names or even help consumers make informed decisions about their purchases. The store Ideal Vapes is located on Locke Street and is a responsible business. It is one of the businesses that would be severely crippled by this bill if it passed.
Bottom line, the Bill C-45 is a problem for vapors as well as for store owners. We're not allowed to vape in the store, and this will then cause vapors to not be able to know what it is they're buying, nor to be educated in the grades of their e-juice, the contents of their e-juice, as well as the hardware knowledge. We pride ourselves in educating and making the switch from smoking to vaping really, really simple for the individual who's starting to vape. And if the government imposes legislation and restrictions that impede us from education, then they will have a whole bunch of people who could have been vapors and will be smokers instead.
The owner of Ideal Vapes, Stephanie Scheid, takes time to educate every customer on the science of vaping, ensuring they have a fully informed mind when making a decision about these products.
Strong. That's actually pretty good. Yeah.
Vaping is a way of obtaining all that you like with smoking without any of the carcinogens. So if a person is ready to make a switch to a vaporizer, then they know that they can obtain the taste of tobacco as well as, for us it's about 99 different flavors of vaping e-liquid juice for their recreational device, which is our vapes. So we have a number of different devices that are geared to helping a smoker feel much more comfortable in making that switch. An inexpensive one that we carry at Ideal Vapes is a pen style, where there is a battery as well as a tank top that's called a clearomizer. What's important about these inexpensive ones are that they have a rotary dial that gives them variable voltage, so a bigger hit of electricity of the battery power goes to the clearomizer, and that way it offers greater taste and flavor with the e-liquids. We then graduate to a tank that is a little larger, and Kaylin, if you wouldn't mind holding this here so that I can talk. When we graduate a vapor to a larger tank, this tank, the Nautilus Mini, is an ideal experience for an individual who has more than a pack a day of smoking. The reason for the increased pleasurable experience is the size of the coil. So when a customer comes here, we explain to them their different options so that they can make the best choice for their body, for their own habits, so that the switch happens easily and naturally. Some customers like a pen style, whereas others would prefer something a little larger in their hand, a little more consistent. We see a lot of these right now in the market. This one is for the individual who wants to make a switch to vaping without having a large battery that requires a big tank. Now we have some that are trending right now. They're called sub-box. This is really popular with students, university students, etc. And they love it because they they can vape with this regulated mod and change the battery themselves so that the unit can last a little bit longer. The tanks on these ones really look wonderful, and the coils are what make the experience so pleasurable for vaping, because juices, the e-juices used for this coil would be a little bit different than the e-juices used for the pen style. When an individual wants to, truly vape as a lifestyle, not just as a way to quit smoking, we see them graduate to the larger boxes with the large tanks for ohm resistance. So this battery here also requires an 18650 battery and has a really beautiful large tank. We've got a Vaper in the house. He's my son and is in the sales business at Ideal Vapes, and he happens to have this Odyssey kit and will vape it for you as an example of one of the common errors of someone who is an anti-smoking advocate is that someone who's vaping is smoking.
Mm-hmm.
Although the actions may resemble themselves, vapor is steam. That's like the steam that you get out of a eucalyptus vaporizer when you're ill is the same steam that comes out of somebody's mouth. It's one of the things that's really safe about vaping. We've got 4 ingredients. You know that your cigarettes have over 2,000 to 4,000 carcinogens coming out of them. In educating people, bring that over, thanks. In educating people about vaporizing here, we often point out what's inside the e-liquid. And the e-liquid that we carry for a vaporizer such as the one that Kaylin was vaping from has a high concentration of vegetable glycerin. And vegetable glycerin is in soya, it's coconut based or palm oil based. So you know that it's organic, it's something that the body will take. However, it is sweet. So we do know that the sweetness of our e-juices are one of the things that is attracting a lot of people who love desserts, and they'll switch from a tobacco at first to something that's a little bit more pleasurable for the palate. The propylene glycol is the one ingredient that everybody has a little bit of apprehension about, but it's actually 100% pharmaceutical grade, food grade, and what happens is when you vape for a asthma attack, you're actually inhaling, your inhaler is full of propylene glycol. And in vaporizing e-liquid, it's actually a humectant, a preservative, and it is an ingredient that thins out the vegetable glycerin to have a great balance for something that is about this size. Most of the e-juices for pens have to be 50% vegetable glycerin, 50% propylene glycol. Way, way safer than having an e-cigarette or a cigarette that is filled with toxins, arsenic, tar, carbon monoxide, all kinds of ingredients that we really don't want in our body. And finally, the thing that you keep in mind for the flavoring and the nicotine is that most of the Canadian e-juices that we carry here will have organic ingredients, and if not organic, they are all natural.
Much of the stigma surrounding vaping is done from a lack of understanding about it and the train of thought that it is synonymous with smoking. In truth, vaping instruments can contain nicotine at the user's discretion. The bottle seen on screen is equivalent to 1 carton worth of cigarettes. Here, Stephanie explains how to properly charge your vaping instrument.
All right. So one of the issues that people have is the safety regarding the charging, the electronics of vaporizers. And as we know, batteries are what keep our units going, especially when we begin to have a box mod of this nature. Now, when you are using these units and you need to charge your battery, very often we use a charger, a USB charger, to go into this port. Now, when you leave the charging of the battery overnight, it is not the safest route to go. Just when you're sitting down watching TV, you can charge your unit and you can continue vaping whether or not it's plugged to your charger. That's the beauty of the new upgrades in the models. And finally, the best way, I believe, to charge our batteries is to actually use a universal charger for the battery. And you know that your unit is separate and that you can plug it into the wall and then unplug it, leaving batteries charging at any point, whether it's rechargeable batteries for your toys or for your vaporizers. You don't leave them unattended and uncared for and just left in the wall charged up.
Here's Stephanie's son, Kalen Dole, explains how the vaping process works.
Essentially, when you vape this, it's very satisfying, just like a cigarette, if not more so satisfying than a cigarette, in my opinion. When you actually take a hit, out of a pen style, it'll be a tight draw, feels very similar to a cigarette, and you'll get, when you have nicotine in it, you'll feel a very nice sensation in your throat, a very crisp sensation, and you really know that the nicotine's there. When you're vaping, you'll hear a popping sound most likely. That is the battery heating the coil and literally burning the juice. That is what produces the vapor, and that's what's giving you your nicotine. So when you hear a popping sound, you know it's working, that's good. If you're hearing a gurgling sound, that means you're getting juice in your coil, and that's not good. So
Clean your vape out.
Clean your vape out if you're hearing gurgling. When you vape out of the pen style, the propylene glycol in it will make the feeling a little bit crisper. I find it makes it a bit stronger in your throat, and that balances out, because when you vape out of a large one, you're using thicker juice that's going to make it smoother, and you have more powerful heat, so it makes the nicotine stronger, and they pretty much will feel the same when you have the right level of nicotine. It's just whether you like big clouds or whether you like a tight draw and small clouds. As you can see, I like big clouds.
With this clarification in hand, people can have a better understanding and make a properly informed decision regarding this upcoming bill and vaping in general. Reporting from Mohawk College Journalism, I'm Hunter Leyland.
That's what we're all about. We're actually, this store prides itself on education. And I couldn't imagine being a store or running a store without the possibility of having people hold the unit and